No problem. It's James Witham, Down and Nerdy Podcast.
Hey,
How
nice
are
to
you
meet you,
today, David?
James. I'm good. How are you doing?
Nice to meet you as well. So, this show, which is wonderful, is based on the novel from Emma Walsh of the same name. So, when you're basing something on a novel like that, were you familiar with it beforehand? And how true did you actually want to stay to the story of the original novel?
I mean, I think someone brought me this book knowing it would be up my alley. I love things that blend comedy and pathos, that have a light sci-fi element which allows you to just kind of talk about the human condition from a unique perspective. But what I kept reminding myself during the adaptation process was the book exists. People can go read the book if they want to read the book. I'm not changing the book. It will always be there, and the series has to be something completely different. So we're taking the premise and the spirit of the book and then spun it off in all sorts of new directions. And, the book obviously has an ending and an explanation, and our series does not so far. So that's been really fun to open it up and see where we can go with it.
Consider that your heads up when you start watching the show, basically.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ending might be a little bit
You
different or
might,
open ended.
if you're really attached to the ending of the book, you might be disappointed.
But you said the book still exists, which is always good.
Yeah.
So David, I love Dusty, Cass, and Trina as a unit. What's your favorite thing about this family?
I love how open and honest this family is. That the three of them talk to each other like adults. The 17-year-old daughter is not afraid to tell her parents exactly what she thinks, which I think there's something about being an only child where you just become a bit more of a grown up sooner. And so I love them as a trio where they're really all on the same level.
Absolutely, me too. So, like you said, light sci-fi element here, but this is such a character-driven show. I feel like, and a lot of characters are driving this thing. So, how do you balance those character-driven moments? I mean, you've still got the thing over here, the mystery of the Morpho. How do you balance those two stories?
Well, for me, the Morpho machine and the mystery of this magical device is an exciting way to bring audiences in. But ultimately, I wanted the show to be more about what people do as a result of the machine, which feels more universal and relatable. Is how, as humans, do we react to the idea of being told what will make us happy? So the mystery recedes into the background a little bit as we focus more on the changing relationships and dynamics between these characters.
Most definitely. Now, this is set in a small town. Do you feel like this has more of an impact being set in a small town than it would be in a city like New York or something a little bit bigger?
For sure. I mean, my experience with small towns is that anytime something new arrives, whether it's like a donut shop or a new store, everyone flocks to it. Everyone's talking about it, at least for a very short period of time. And then there's kind of a turn, and something similar happens in this series where everyone flocks to the machine, and then people eventually start to question whether it's as great as everyone assumes it is.
Well, there was a town called Deerfield a couple of towns away from where I was, so this is definitely in there for me.
Yeah. I mean, we've set the show, unlike the book, this is like a geographically ambiguous place meant to be any town USA. So, I love the idea of making a show in a bubble where everything that happens in Deerfield, and we never talk about the outside world. It's a fun way to kind of make everything feel that much more significant.
And fun definitely describes this show. Make sure you're watching the Big Door Prize on March the 29th. That's when the first few episodes are going to premiere on Apple TV Plus, and then weekly after that. David Westreed, thank you so much, man, for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So nice to talk to you.